My name's Jimmy.
What's up, you guys? Jimmy here, back at you with another review for The Flash Season 2. And this is the first part to the two-part crossover with Arrow. And it's the 8th episode titled Legends of Today, which I'd have to first say, compared to last year's crossover, this year definitely had more anticipation and excitement going on for it. I mean, first, we have the fact that it's going to set up DC's Legends of Tomorrow, which starts next month, new show. And another thing is the fact that it's going to feel like a two-part episode. So I like that as well, because last year it wasn't so much of a two-part ongoing story. It's more like the other character went to the other show. So it was nice to see here. But in this episode, we get to see the introduction of three new characters. Kendra, more of a backstory on her, and we even learn about Carter Hall, aka Hawkman, and our first time seeing Vandal Savage, which we kind of get that backstory on her and Carter's connection, how every time they die, they are reincarnated just to find each other again, because they're kind of like, lovers that will always be connected in one way or another. But we see that Vandal Savage does come to Central City to kill them both, to either keep his immortality or to gain more power, which I think the power would be the more obvious one. But in protecting her and seeing how difficult it is to take down Vandal, they go to Team Arrow over in Star City, which we kind of see more of who Vandal Savage really is, that he's immortal, which Malcolm Merlin tells them. But when they encounter Carter Hall, when he's trying to protect Kendra himself, they get the explanation of how long they've been around and how long, a sort of estimation of how long Vandal has been around. So, kind of see how much of a challenge it is to take down someone who is unkillable. I mean, if anything, people with powers could be able to subdue him, but I don't think he has ever been killed. Not once. Not even in the comics. I'm not even sure about that. So he's a pretty tough enemy to kind of take down. But, for the main story in this episode, I really loved it. I know it's just the first part, but I'm definitely excited for part 2 of it. Especially with that final scene, which, big spoiler alert, which Oliver over at Jitters, he sort of meets his son, which we had the hint at that back in season 2 in a flashback when Moira told her to stay out of Starling City at the time. So, I mean, she was still keeping her word. She was in Starling City, but yeah, finally got to meet his son. So that was very interesting to see here in the end of the episode. But also, we got to see Harrison, Earth 2 Harrison, uh, coming up with Velocity 6, I believe, which is a serum that will be able to chemically give people the power of the Speed Force, or in Speedster's terms, it will be more like nitrous to them, pretty much to enhance their speed. But, when it comes to that story, at one point, I almost thought that Harrison was going to be given Velocity 6. That's what I almost was thinking. Just because of what they were saying, and the fact that, Johnny Quick is actually the father of Jesse Quick, which that's the nickname given to Harrison's daughter in Earth 2. So I almost thought that, but then we had Jay come back and actually save him. So it was interesting to kind of see, over life and death situation, Jay still saved Harrison for all the bad stuff that he says about him. For as much as he's pretty much like Lex Luthor, you know, he still saved some. But that was pretty much it from what we saw in the episode. Because I honestly, I loved it. I know it's just the first part, but I'm definitely excited to see part 2 next week. And the interesting thing, we got almost the entire cast involved in just this episode alone. The only person that we literally do not see is Laurel and Captain Lance. Those are the only people that we do not see. So, very nice to see in this episode. And that's pretty much my thoughts on the episode. Let me know your thoughts in this episode down in the comments below, as well as any Easter eggs you might have seen that I may have missed. And since this was a crossover that introduced new characters, my question to you is, at some point in the Arrowverse, what DC Comics characters, not necessarily heroes at the time, would you like to see introduced? Me, I've always wanted to see Ted Kord, ever since his first little reference. I would like to see Ted Kord. I've explained before, I would say younger than Robert Queen and older than Oliver. I say in between sort of person. And the thing I think is funny is when they try to figure out, like, oh, just think what the Earth 2 Oliver is. We know in Earth 2, Robert Queen is actually the Arrow at the time. So I thought that was kind of funny to see that there. But you can check out my review for the part 2 tomorrow night, and you can also check out my review for the mid-season finale of Gotham Season 2, which I loved it, as well as my past reviews for The Flash and for Arrow. And as always, my name is Jimmy, and until next time, bye.